from what I was telling you about, okay? And if you see with all these guys with all these guns, there's one guy standing there with a big spear. Now the enemies are way over there.
Yeah.
These guys all got guns. Why would you bring a spear? Because this guy is the sergeant, and that spear isn't for those guys.
No guys.
In case one of you decide you're going to go that way, that spear can reach a long way. So this sergeant was in charge of spearing his own men if they ran away. That's also why you see an officer with a sword. I mean, who would bring a knife to a gunfight? Well, he's not worried about the guns. He can also do that. So the British trained their sergeants and their officers to keep the men in line no matter what. Because if you start running away, the whole line breaks, and then you're all dead.
And the other ones probably say, hey, he's leaving, I'm going to leave too.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. The other thing about this group is, okay, we're fighting, I go down, you're covered in my brains. They will have a young 16-year-old ensign or drummer behind you, and he'll come up and he'll grab me by the feet and he'll drag me out and he'll move the other guys into place. So you're always together as a group.
Oh, okay.
So you're not doing, oh, I'm all alone, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
And that's why our fewer British troops could stand against the larger American forces. The Americans weren't trained as much, and the Americans didn't like that part about killing your own men because they actually had an equal society. The kids went to the same schools, they knew each other, whereas the British, there was a bit of a social separation. They still appreciated their men, but it's a lot easier for an officer to take that necessary step when their kids don't go to the same school, or they don't attend the same church, or they don't have the same social gatherings. Kind of get that? So that was the advantage. And the other thing that they did, I can show you this picture. So you've got this big group of men, they're all firing at once, trying to load 3 times a minute, because that's what they were trained for. Great big smoke. Out in front of them, you have these guys, skirmishers. And their job wasn't to act in a group, they acted 2 together. So it was like me and you, and we'd always be partners, and one of us would always have a loaded firearm. So I would shoot and then load. And while I was doing that, you would stand there, because if we were both empty, the guy on the horse over there could get us really fast.
Yeah.
So that's the fighting that you're going to see kind of today.
So you're saying the British were actually a lot better trained than the Americans?
Far better. For the first 2 years of the war, there was really no equal. And it showed up at a number of battles. One of the easiest ones to see was Chrysler's Farm up past Kingston. In the Battle of Chrysler's Farm, the British there were outnumbered 4 or 5 to 1. But they were professionals, and the Americans had poor leadership and weren't trained as well. And so when they came, the British stood their ground. They stood right there no matter what and kept firing, and the Americans broke and ran. So that was all that saved us. We only had 5,000 guys in all of Canada. And the United States Army was supposed to be 40,000 men. They never made it, but right? So it was the professionalism, and it was the training, and it actually was the professional supply lines that the British had. The Americans were just developing. That saved them.